Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a look at a video here, and I'm a little late to the party with this one. We're well into 2017, but this was a 2017 New Year's resolution for white guys, and I'm going to critique this video.
Hey fellow white guys!
It's about to be a new year.
And there's a few things we think you could do a little bit better in 2017.
Just the start of this video, addressing people as white guys. I mean, if you're truly trying to abolish racism, wouldn't it be better to stop referring to people as black guys or white guys? I mean, this is the problem with people that have this mindset of collectivism, of needing to refer to everyone based off of their group, based off of their race. If you truly want to live in a society where people are judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, look at these people not as minorities, but look at them as the smallest minority, the individual.
First off, try to recognize that America was never great for anyone who wasn't a white guy.
Here we go. America was never great for anyone that wasn't a white guy. This is assuming that slavery only applied to black people. Now, let's be very clear about this. The slaves not only came from Africa, they came from Ireland. During the formation of the United States, for a long period of time, they were having white people as slaves, not just black people. And let us not forget that the slaves that were taken from Africa were sold by black slave owners. Africa had a 1,000-year history of slavery, and they were complicit in some of the worst acts against what we would deem as human rights. So this idea that somehow white people are responsible for slavery and black people are not is ridiculous. The word slave actually comes from the word Slav, from the Slavic people that also underwent slavery, and the conditions that they underwent were far worse. So this whole idea that America was never great, and let's be honest about this, they devoted many of their resources to abolishing slavery. The United States was the freest society at a point. I mean, before 1913, essentially Americans paid no tax, and they still had schools, they still had a navy, they still had all the many different things that we would associate with a civil society. It was truly the freest state that was based off of the values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are values that I believe all Americans, all human beings have. So to proclaim that the United States was never great because of the way that they treated black people, that is not a fair statement at all, considering that black people also had slaves, and the entire world at a point had slavery.
We all just agree that Black Lives Matter isn't the opposite of All Lives Matter.
Yes, black lives do matter. Pink lives matter. And look, I understand the implication here that you're saying that there is tremendous injustice towards black people, and this is true, and we should focus on this. And it really depends on how you want to look at the term Black Lives Matter. There's nothing wrong with it, but there is also nothing wrong with the term All Lives Matter. It is simply trying to express the idea that Martin Luther King expressed, the idea that black supremacy is just as bad as white supremacy, that we should all be looking at each other as individuals, that all lives truly matter, that there are also issues dealing with how white people are treated that often get overlooked by the media. And this is truly not about races. This is truly not about sexes. This is truly about all lives. Having said that, saying that Black Lives Matter is not saying that all lives do not matter. It is simply saying that let's focus on black lives. But if you're truly going to be impartial here, then you should be pushing for all lives. As soon as you start focusing on one race, one group of people, that by the very definition is racism. And look, let's be very clear about this. There is nothing inherently wrong with wanting to focus on your family or by extension, your race. However, it is that attitude that perpetuates this racism. It is better to cast a wider net, to have a sense of agape, universal love, compassion towards all the brothers and sisters of this planet, and therefore to treat them as individuals.
Lives just matter. There's no need to overcomplicate it.
Also, Blue Lives Matter isn't a thing.
Cops weren't born with blue skin, right? I mean, yeah, They weren't born blue.
Stop bragging.
You know what? I tend to agree with that. Blue Lives Matter isn't a thing. And look, no doubt, I'm sure that cops have to undergo a lot of difficulty. But the fact of the matter is, more often than not, they are the people that are responsible for committing a lot of these atrocities, a lot of these injustices. And I get what they do is difficult. But the reality is, they have chosen to do that line of work. And more often than not, they are violating the rights of individuals just because they've taken on this badge. And as soon as you decide to do something like that, just because you're following orders, because you're wearing a badge and saying that you're not accountable, that you're just following orders, well, that makes you by far more responsible. And I think it's incumbent upon police officers not to obey the dictates of these stupid laws if no one is committing anything that violates natural laws. I mean, if there is no victim, there is no crime, right? However, more often than not, these police officers are incarcerating people for smoking marijuana, people for having consensual sex. It's ridiculous.
About being woke. Stop saying woke.
Learn what mansplaining is?
So the whole woke thing, look, I really don't know too much about that. People should be able to say what the hell they want. At the end of the day, if we believe in a free society, we believe in free speech. I don't care if you're using woke, and granted, I realize they're just trying to be cool over here. Stop using woke, man. It's not cool. Like, you're not really awoken to what's going on in the world. Well, I would beg to differ. I would say that many of the people that do use these signs, use these hashtags woke, probably have a better sense of what's going on in the world than you collectivist, leftist people that think that everything should be based off of your race, based off of your sexuality.
And then stop doing it.
Oh, and if you're a judge, don't.
Oh, the mansplaining thing, we'll have to talk about that. Really? Mansplaining is a thing in the 21st century? So look, apparently, let's see if I can define this mansplaining thing for you. Okay, mansplain. Explain something to someone, typically a woman, in a manner regarded as condescending or patronizing. So this is the problem. We're looking at offensive rhetoric. Offense is not given. Offense is taken. If someone is explaining something to you and you find them to be condescending, tough titties. That's life. Don't talk to them. But don't think that you somehow have a right to pass legislation that prevents me from explaining something to you in a way that you consider condescending and patronizing. End of story. This stupid culture of, oh, I don't like the way you're talking to me because you're making me sound dumb. Well, perhaps if you did not say dumb things, we would not speak to you in a dumb way.
Don't prioritize the well-being of an Ivy League athlete over the woman he assaulted.
We all.
Alright, so, look, I don't know too much about that case, but yeah, don't prioritize an athlete over someone that he has assaulted. If someone commits the crime, then yeah, they should pay the punishment. End of story.
Love Beyonce. And yeah, she's black, so of course she cares about black issues.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? I mean, if you're saying that we shouldn't be racist, then if someone is purely focusing on their race, doesn't that make them inherently more racist than someone that is looking at everyone as individuals? Someone that doesn't see or doesn't judge someone based off the color of their skin? I mean, it's funny how the people that are so against racism, more often than not, they only want to focus on people based off of their race. They only want to focus on their race. They only want to focus on things relating to race. It sounds a little hypocritical to me.
I'm talking to you, Fox News.
Feel free to take Kanye West, though. You guys can have him.
You know what.
It's funny, though, how we look at this. It's like we own people. It's like if someone is black and they do great things, well, they're part of our society. We own those people. And if they do bad things, well, oh, you can have them. You know, this whole idea of attributing someone's behavior to your race and you being deemed as good or bad based off the actions of other people, that's a very dangerous attitude to have. The whole idea of holding people accountable for the actions of people that belong to their race, when you start basing a justice system on that, you have complete and utter chaos. The idea of saying that you as an individual, because your ancestors may have done something 100 or 1,000 years ago that was horrible, and you are now benefiting from that? We're all complicit in having done horrible things if we associate what our ancestors have done to our character. I'm not responsible for the actions of my ancestors. I'm responsible for my own actions. Learn to judge someone not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Your circumstances of birth are irrelevant. It's what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
What you did, Kanye. Nobody who has black friends says that they have black friends.
Well, actually, that's just not true. I mean, often, many of you social justice warriors want to proclaim that you're a racist person because you are not accepting of people that have a different race to you. So clearly, if you have someone that you are friends with that is of a different race, it shows that you are accepting of them. Stop being silly. This is ridiculous.
Just because you have black friends doesn't mean you're not racist.
Well, that it depends on how you want to define racism. I mean, if you want to define it along the lines of discrimination towards someone based on their race, then yeah, I mean, essentially everyone is racist. We all discriminate to varying degrees over here, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's this whole idea that, oh, you're discriminating against me. Well, here's the thing. If you happen to be someone that only wants to have sex with people of your race, that doesn't make you inherently bad. There's nothing wrong with that. If you, on the other hand, want to harm someone based off of the fact that they're different to you, they have a different skin complexion, well then yes, that does make you a douchebag. But not all forms of racism are bad. If you think that someone is more likely to be a threat to you, then you have a right to choose not to converse with that person or conduct business. It doesn't make you a douchebag. It just makes you someone that may be ignorant or ill-informed.
You could be racist with black friends.
Look, guys, we know nobody's perfect.
But honestly, you could do a little better in 2017.
Some of you guys do a great job. Some of you don't.
Please, because 2016 is bad. 2017 can't be worse than this, all right? Because this is bad.
So there we go. Dear white people. Well, dear black people, I would like to tell you that you shouldn't be so racist. You shouldn't be judging people by the color of their skin. I mean, if you truly believe in the values of life, liberty, and justice, if you truly believe in the words of Martin Luther King, then you should be looking at people as individuals. To quote Ron Paul, had this brilliant quote, "Racism is simply an ugly form of collectivism. The mindset that views humans only as members of groups and never as individuals. By encouraging Americans to adopt group mentality, the advocates of so-called diversity actually perpetuate racism." So by advocating that we should be looking at people based off of the color of their skin, we should be determining what reparations they receive based off of the color of their skin, you're going against the very tenet of working together as a society, of looking at each other as individuals, which is what this country, the United States, was founded on. So I would invite you black people out there to stop being so racist. And before you start to call me a racist, well, I would like to show you guys that, well, you know what? I'm black, y'all! I'm black, y'all! You can't be playing this, oh, you're a racist dude with this ridiculous leftist idea of, oh, wait a sec, your viewpoint isn't valid because you're not black or you're not part of an oppressed group. Well, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. None of this African-American bullshit over here. Yes, my ancestors were black. And you know what? I don't care if my ancestors were black or white. What my ancestors did has no bearing on my words. If my ancestors had slaves, which I'm sure many of them did, the Ashanti Empire, which is the empire generally within West Africa, had 1,000 years, over 1,000 years of slavery. They were complicit in trading many of these black slaves to the white people of America. So let us not forget that black supremacy is just as bad as white supremacy. Ladies and gentlemen, signing out. Be sure to send this video to all your racist black friends that somehow think that you're racist when they're perpetuating more racism by talking about black people and white people. Until next time, this is The Crucial Journey.
I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism and
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Life's purpose is to feel joy. Metaphysical, lyrical, saying nothing truth. The only one to make change is walking in your shoes. Be the example, don't complain about the news. Making music and serving the world with the loo. Now you can be the same, or you can be the change. Find strength from inside, break through the chains. No one to blame, nothing to prove. You create your reality, it's up to you.